Hi, I'm Sarah, Optimist and Laser Coach.
I'm Johnny, Lead Pathway Coach.
And today we're going to talk you through some boat maintenance tips.
Enjoy!
Johnny, why is it important to boat bimble?
Well, number one, because bimbling is fun. And number two is because we don't want to lose races because our boats break.
We're going to take you through our boat bimbling checklist.
Before you put your mast up, make sure that you've taped anything sharp that could catch on the sails. Things like your top of your forestay, any split rings that are on the end of the spreaders, any of the bolts that hold the spreaders on, and generally anything that you think could have a sharp edge on it. Another check worth doing every once in a while is just to see if your mast is still straight. So if you've ever capsized and hit it on the bottom, it's a good just to check that your mast is still in column.
If you do find a slight bend, don't worry, you can actually manipulate the mast back straight again, but do seek advice before you do this. We're going to check for leaks.
Johnny, I think the front tank might have a leak.
Alright, we'll start there. And then look. If you do find that you've got a leak, you can obviously take it to a professional to get it looked at, or you can try at home your own version of a buoyancy test. So if you just put your hatch covers on, make sure that they're on nice and tight, and then get yourself your collapsible bucket. You want to basically get some soapy water and soap all around any areas that you suspect might be leaking. So anything that's screwed into the hull, any rails, and any fittings that you think might see a little bit of action over time. That's it. And then once you've soaked up the majority of your fittings that you suspect are leaking, you can get yourself an electric pump. It does work with a bike pump as well, but you're just going to make sure you get the seal nice and tight on the bung. So once you've soaked it up, if you have a look forward towards where the hatches are, that's probably where you'll see some action. So if you do find that you've got some bubbles, like we did on our hatch cover here, that's telling you that you've got a leak in that area. On the hatches, often they have an O-ring, so you can replace the O-ring if it's deteriorated and see if that solves the problem. If your bubbles were on a different area that a fitting was screwed to the deck with, then you can get some marine sealant and reseal that fitting. Most of us sail on the sea or off a beach. Sand and salt are one of the worst things that can happen to a moving part. So it's really important that you check over your boats, make sure all your cleats are working, everything's running as it's supposed to. And when you finish your day on the water, make sure that you wash everything out with fresh water, just so it stops them seizing. Okay, some of the common things that we see happen are things like this on the cleats, where the jaws lose its spring. Rollers lose their roll, and some of the blocks that get actually damaged where the roller stops working because it's been damaged. So if you spot any of these, make sure you replace these immediately. So a common thing that breaks on your boats is the UJ. So something we recommend is to, after every sail, when you're finished for the day, is just pop the UJ off, and then you can leave it stored in the boat overnight, and that stops this happening. So your rudder staying on the back of the boat is quite important. So you want to make sure that your retaining system on the 200, we have a spring on the top fitting. Make sure that that's actually holding the rudder on. Some boats have a spring retainer that can bend out of shape, and other boats just have a little split ring that holds it on, but make sure that that's all still operating as it should and the rudder stays on the back. Talk about ropes. Things don't just break, they always show signs of wear. So as you can see here, the outer core is slightly damaged, and as you come further down the rope you'll see signs of wear. So this rope is ready to be replaced. That's a control line, and we move on to other types of ropes. This one again, you can see there's some strands that are broken. There is no inner core on this rope, so it's what you see is what you get. And if any of the strands are broken, another time to replace. And then finally, looking at your elastics, it's not really elastic anymore. It doesn't spring anymore. It's lost its elasticity, and again, that's ready to put a new fresh piece on. So turn your boat over. This gives you a great chance to check for any cracks, any damage to the hull. Some of the places to check are where the trolley sits on the boat, on the cradle here near the front. Any times you've had a bit of a crash on the water on your bow. I've got a little repair on the back here that I need to attend to, which is where the boat was lifted up and banged on the back, so that one to do. And this is a great chance to also check your foils, so you can put your foils down if you in a boat where you can't take them out, and then you just check your leading edge for any chips and your trailing edge. Really important that you don't have any chips in your foils. And then equally you can do the same on your rudder. Make sure that there's no damage to the rudder. You haven't caught an anchor chain or anything that's going to damage the leading edge or the trailing edge. And just check that there's no issues.
In terms of sails, one thing to check is to make sure that your telltales are in good working order. So step 1, make sure that you have some. Step 2, make sure they're not too long. And step 3, make sure you've got 1 strand of wool and not 6 strands that are trying to tell you the information. The positioning of your telltales will vary class to class, so make sure you check your class rigging guides. If you have a tear or a hole in your sail, you can pop down to the chandlery and you can buy sail repair tape. If in your garage you've got a sail number or a letter, then you can cut 2 patches the same size as your tear or hole, and then you stick 1 on top and stick 1 underneath, and that should keep you going for a little bit longer. Finally, when you've been out sailing, make sure that you dry your sails off properly. We normally hang ours up in the garage, so that's your jibs, your mains and your spinnakers. It just makes them last a little bit longer. One thing that people forget is their trolley, and it's one of the most important things in terms of looking after your hull. Some things to look out for are putting some padding on the areas that are really sharp and that your boat's going to hit. Another thing you need to look out for is your trolley wheels. It's not fun pulling a boat up with a flat trolley. We've replaced our wheels with these solid ones, which are pretty good. The other thing that you can check is to make sure that you've got good padding at the front to support the boat. And then we have also padded here to make sure it supports the boat well.
Top tip for cleaning, get yourself a collapsible bucket and a sponge. These are great because you can just take them anywhere and they collapse and they're ready.
Ideally, when you're coming off the water, you're going to wash your boat. Fresh water is absolutely fine, but you can use just water and fairy liquid, and don't worry about where you get it, so everywhere. Just clean absolutely everything, all of the fittings, make sure you clean the boom, you can clean your foils if you've got them with you, all the ropes, you can clean the hull, absolutely everything you can see. Make sure you give it a wash with water. It just makes sure that when you go on the water next time, everything will be working smoothly. So make sure that you remove any unnecessary items out of your boat. So we're going to check in here first, and we haven't checked in here for a while, so it appears that some fungus has been growing in there. Some cereal bars from 2003, they need to go out. Sun cream, that's a good one to keep. Let's see what's in the hatch. Good God. Yep, spoon. A drill, you never know, we might need to do some DIY. Looks like Johnny's been patriotic and hoping he wins the 200 Nationals. He's also stored his steamer wetsuit in here. And of course, make sure you haven't got a leak.
Alright, hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to crack on and clean my boat, get yours out of the garage and start bimbling.